1. Winemakers can choose different grape varieties that go well together to create unique flavors in co-fermentation. 2. I would like to understand how mixing grapes and other fruits can make wine taste more complex. 3. They're gonna combine various grape types in the same container for co-fermentation. 4. Yeast is gonna be added to start fermentation as the sugars in the grapes turn into alcohol. 5. Co-fermentation can result in new and special flavors because the grapes interact during the process. 6. The blend of different grapes would like to bring more layers of taste to the wine. 7. Winemakers need to carefully control the fermentation process to ensure the best result. 8. After fermentation, the wine can go through aging to develop its flavors further. 9. Co-fermentation is often used in red winemaking, where it can lead to enhanced aroma complexity. 10. They would like to create wines that are truly unique and expressive through co-fermentation. 11. Opus 1 stands out for blending different grape types like Petit Verdot and Cabernet Sauvignon in their winemaking. 12. They start the blending process right in the vineyard by combining grapes from the same place. 13. Picking grapes early helps Opus 1 maintain freshness and create a balanced wine, you know what I mean. It kind holds the wine together. 14. The use of wild yeast adds a unique flavor that represents the vineyard's character. 15. Opus 1's focus is on capturing the essence of their vineyard in every bottle. 16. The goal is to create a wine that truly reflects its origin. 17. Mixing grapes from the same vineyard before fermentation sets Opus 1's process apart. 18. Their approach results in a distinctive and flavorful wine. 19. I'm curious to taste Opus 1's wine and experience its uniqueness. 20. Starting the blending process in the vineyard showcases Opus 1's commitment to quality. Conversation 1. Have you heard about co-fermentation in winemaking? Yes, of course. It's when they ferment different types of grapes together, right? That creates unique flavors, doesn't it? Exactly. They even mix grapes with other fruits sometimes. Co-fermentation helps achieve complex and interesting flavor profiles. How does it work, though? Are the grapes just thrown together? Not exactly. Winemakers choose grape varieties that complement each other and mix them in the same fermentation vessel. The process involves adding yeast to turn sugars into alcohol. Interesting. And how does that interaction between the grapes during fermentation happen? During co-fermentation, the grapes interact and influence each other. This can lead to chemical reactions that result in new and unique flavors and aromas in the wine. I see. And this is common in red wines, right? Yes, especially in red wines. Co-fermentation can enhance aroma complexity and even soften tannins. Cool. Sounds like it's a process that requires a lot of knowledge. Definitely. Winemakers need to understand the grapes they're using and how they'll blend together to achieve the desired outcome. I guess co-fermentation can really make wines unique and special. Absolutely. When done carefully, it can result in truly expressive wines. Conversation 2. Have you ever heard of Opus 1 and their winemaking approach? Yeah, they're known for something unique, right? Absolutely. They exclusively use wild yeast from a specific vineyard for fermentation. Wild yeast. That's interesting. Don't they use different types of yeast in winemaking? That's what makes Opus 1 stand out. They rely solely on the wild yeast from their vineyard. They believe it gives their wine a distinct character. But why only wild yeast? Aren't there benefits to using different yeast strains? They do it to ensure consistency. By using only the wild yeast from that vineyard, they have a clear idea of what kind of wine they'll get each year. So, it's about predictability and unique flavors. Exactly. They want to capture the essence of their vineyard while maintaining a consistent quality and flavor profile. It sounds like a bold choice, but it must make their wines quite distinctive. Definitely. It's all about embracing the natural characteristics of their vineyard and letting that shine through in the final product. I'm intrigued. I'll have to look more into Opus One's wines now. You should. It's fascinating how their commitment to using only wild yeast creates such a unique wine experience. Conversation 3. Have you heard about Opus One and how they make their wine? Yeah, I know they do something special. What's their way of making wine? Opus One actually mixes different kinds of grapes together when they're making the wine, like Petit Verdot and Cabernet Sauvignon. Mixing grapes. That's interesting. Why do they do that? They believe it's important to start blending the grapes even before they're turned into wine, right there in the vineyard. So, they mix grapes from the same place before turning them into wine. Yes, exactly. And they start picking the grapes early to keep them fresh. Why early? Does it make a difference? Definitely. Picking the grapes early helps keep the wine balanced by making sure it has the right amount of freshness and a good balance between flavor. Got it. And why do they use wild yeast for making the wine? They use wild yeast because they want the wine to taste like the place where the grapes grow. It adds a special flavor. It sounds like they really care about the grapes' flavor. Absolutely. They want the wine to show the special taste of the vineyard right from the beginning. It sounds like they have a careful process. I bet the wine is really good. You're right. Opus One's way of doing things and mixing the grapes create a wine that's unique and has a special taste. I should try their wine to see how different it is. You should. It's an interesting experience that shows how much work goes into making their wine special. Conversation 4. Did you hear that they just released the 2018 Opus Vintage? Oh, really? I wonder how it tastes. It's said to have a lot of restraint, but it is not too rigid. It has a nice balance. That sounds interesting. What else did they say about it? The wine has a beautiful beginning with a lot of fruitiness and even some notes of rose petals. Sounds lovely. And how about the overall texture and finish? They mentioned that it has multiple layers of texture, creating a complex experience. The finish is also quite long-lasting. Nice. It seems like they put a lot of effort into making. Definitely. Opus One is known for seeking balance at every stage, from planting, pruning, and growing to winemaking and aging. That's a lot of dedication. It must be a special wine. Absolutely. It's impressive how they focus on every detail to create something exceptional. I'm really curious to try it now and see if I can taste all those elements they mention. You should give it a go. Exploring the layers of flavors and textures in a wine like that can be quite an experience.